So this is called Mokume Gane, and it's a Japanese technique. So it's Mokume Gane. That's a separate word. So what I've done now is I've punched the top of it, which is where I'm going to go in with my drill, and I'm basically going to drill out lots of different holes into this piece. So let's turn that. Just turn the power on. So some of them I'm going to go down quite far, some of them I'm just going to go down a little bit. So some of these little holes are kind of almost going into each other as well. That doesn't matter because it kind of gives you a more random effect afterwards. Nearly there with it. Okay, so let's put all these little holes in there, and they're all at different heights and different depths. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this off and I'm going to put a slightly bigger one on. Okay, and then I'm just going to go back over a few of these, but not all of them. Right, I'm going to leave it like that. So you can see the different sort of patterns of copper and brass going down there. Okay, so your next job is to make this the same thickness as you would with a normal sheet of material that you'd be using. So if it's going to be 2 mil or whatever, you just take it down through the roller mill over and over again until you get to that point. So I'm just going to put that through there. So the tricky bit about at this point is well, you really should have checked this before putting it through here, but sometimes when you put it through the roller, if you've not soldered it very well, some of the layers can start to peel off, so you need to make sure that it's really soldered well before you start rolling it. And then it's just a case, you can see it's starting to flatten. It's a case of basically doing that until it flattens to the thickness you want it, and so that there's no holes left in it. You see I've got a problem coming in the piece there, so it's started to come apart. So I might go and try and resolder that. The problem is once you get it really thin, if you try soldering it, like once you finish, you shouldn't really take a torch and near it, you should think about cold connections. But yeah, that's the problem, but I might get away with that. I could actually take that whole layer off and still use it as it is probably. But you can just, if you take a really close look, you'll see that by the time I've rolled that right down flat, all you'll see is a flat sheet with little red rings on it. It works really, really nicely with silver and copper. Just put it through a couple more times. Nearly there now. And you can see that's kind of starting to flatten, all the holes are starting to come out of it. Okay.
What do you do with that and then what can you do with that and then?
I mean, well, I think you can solder, but it's very tricky because you've got hundreds of layers of solder in between. You can think about maybe riveting it. I've used it once. Around a bangle. I made like a bangle with two little poles on it and riveted it onto those. So there's different things you can do with it afterwards.
Okay. So it creates a nice pattern.
Yeah, yeah. And after a few weeks, the copper will kind of oxidize and go black, and you'll see even more of a contrast between the two shapes.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost there now. You see all the little rings in it. So I'll finish that off and I'll bring it down the stairs and show you guys when it's finished. Okay?